Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon.
Buon pomeriggio, signore e signori, per favore prendete posto. Buon pomeriggio. Sono Giuseppe Piamonte, lavoro per DG Connect. Benvenuti a questo incontro dell'European Film Forum che si occuperà oggi di come i festival possono rispondere ai cambiamenti del panorama audiovisivo e come i media si possono adattare per massimizzare l'impatto. Dirò un paio di cose sul programma. Prima di tutto il discorso di apertura sarà tenuto da Paolo Baratta, presidente della Biennale di Venezia, seguito poi da un discorso dal direttore generale di DG Connect, Roberto Viola. Poi ci sarà una conversazione tra i rappresentanti dell'Il Civil Mania Festival, Laurence Herszberg e José Luis Rebordinos del Film Festival di San Sebastián. Confronteranno le loro esperienze e il loro approccio ai film, per il cinema e al settore televisivo. Ci sarà poi un panel con una discussione tra oratori che parleranno di festival sulla forza della collaborazione, cercando di capire come condividere le risorse e condividere il pubblico. Le osservazioni finali saranno di Silvia Costa, parlamentare, rapporteur per il programma culturale europeo. E poi ci sarà un cocktail sulla terrazza degli Aranci, dove il vicepresidente del Parlamento, Evelyn Gebhardt, darà il premio per l'innovazione, European Cinema Innovation. Non so se già compare sullo schermo, si possono fare fotografie a scopo o far vedere dei video non a scopo commerciale. Se avete problemi scrivete all'indirizzo email che è citato qui. Ci sarà un'interpretazione verso l'italiano, verso l'inglese, il francese e lo spagnolo, non in tedesco purtroppo. Grazie. Presidente Baratta ha la parola.
Signora Vicepresidente, caro amico Viola, cari amici, I'm here to welcome.
Sono qui per dare il benvenuto a tutti voi e per esprimere la mia gratitudine alla Commissione a Viola e a tutti coloro che si occupano di media per l'aiuto che riceviamo sia per il Production Bridge, Venice Production Bridge, e per l'iniziativa College. Come festival guidiamo la selezione.
Some initiatives whose purpose is only to provide opportunities for those who have to meet, and this is a place for meeting and we chose, instead of a market, a traditional market with film producers and distributors and retailers, we chose a way of a sort of market which is, as a matter of fact, something like looks more like a merchant bank. I mean, where we choose 40 films that have not yet found fully, they have not covered the whole financing. And we propose them to the market for those who are ready to finance a film or who are interested in financing a film, which means exactly the work of a merchant bank who chooses for the client and select. And so all our people who are engaged in the selection, who are professionals, they are engaged in providing this sort of list of possible films to be produced that need money and need the final additional sum that makes it possible to produce them. But then we have the college. The college, I mean, is something to which we attach a great importance, and it's becoming more and more important for the Biennale. We have the college for theatre, for dance, for music, and we have years ago started also the college for film. And let me suggest, give me a few seconds to describe it, what it is, because it's a very innovative form of intervention. We ask with the call, with international call to couples of a young director, I mean a director with his first or his second work, and together already linked to a producer, to send us a project. A project, we select 12 of them, then the selected ones are hosted here in Venice for 12 days and have the opportunity to work with 9-10 professionals of very, very high quality that can help them developing this project, which is a sort of first draft, but sometimes, into a fully fledged project to be, that can be considered the basis for a production. This is an incredibly important work because young directors meet high-quality professionals immediately, and they work with them for days. They work together. They have the opportunity to meet very, very high-quality people, and it's a challenge for them. I can assure you that the third, fourth day of these meetings, of this conversation, they feel really somehow lost, and then they recover somehow during the following days, and they come out blossoming. But it's with their product, which is really something that can become a film, can become a work of art. Among these, we choose 3, and we finance them directly. We give them a grant of 150,000 euros for a low-cost production, but, and this is the novelty, if you want, of the project. They go, they shoot it, but they have to take it back here because we show these products and they are in the catalog in the film festival. So the circle is closed from a draft to the presentation to the public of the Venice Festival of these works. I mean, at present, I think we are the only one who dares do that, and we are very happy of the results, and we are very happy that the Commission and have understood the importance. And we have extended it to the VR, the virtual reality, and we have conversations about the help that we can receive. May I just underline? I wanted to talk about this project and this because it's my opinion that for Europe in general, for each of the European states in particular, this is the time for choices. Choose projects that bring results, concentrate resources and projects that are not just belong to the world, to the area of, to the aura of technology. But look at their efficiency, look at their effectiveness, and concentrate resources. We need to have resources for the implementing new projects, new initiatives that are of help for the young generations. And these are projects in which there is a concentration of energies with a maximization of concentration of energies, of quality, of professionality, and the result is really very, very interesting. You can see in the catalogue, you can see tonight at 5 o'clock there is a film of this of the college, which is listed in the catalogue of this year's selection, one of the 3. By the way, 3 films from college, 2 of them are women, the directors. So, I mean, this gives also a hint about, you know, these days we are talking very much about the role of women in cinema, but if there are positive, interesting, innovative projects, opportunities, this is what the young generation need. women or men, but I mean in particular women, and if we give these opportunities, this is the way to break old, if you want, old habit or old negative habit, and only through this project we can induce the change which is needed, also to implement opportunities for you women in cinema, as it happens in all the other arts in which we are working and which are developing these projects. So thank you for being here. Thank you for what you do for us. Do more if you can. I can assure you that we make a very positive and very productive use of any resource that Europe can give us. Thanks, all of you. Thank you once again. Bye-bye.
No one is announcing me, but I guess it's my turn to speak. So, dear Madam Vice President of the European Parliament, dear Silvia, dear President Baratta, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to contribute to this discussion today, the importance of film festivals in the media program, what we can do, and how to shape the future. Let me start by saying that this year we come with something very concrete. We come with a new proposal for the media program for the years 21-27, and we come with an increase of 30% of this program. So we have made a proposal to the Parliament and to the Member States to increase the media program compared to the previous period by 30%. And someone said, oh, 30%, it's a lot. Well, yes, maybe I don't have 1.1 billion euros. So if you look at the amount, it might sound a lot for a private citizen. But when you think that the budget of the Union that we have proposed is 1,000 billion, this is a tiny bit. But it's a very important tiny bit. It's about the possibility for people to dream, to reflect, to understand, because it's about a story that the cinema tells about our society, our life. So I don't think that 0.01% of the Union to creativity in the cinema sector is a lot. And I don't think 30% increase is a lot. I think, and we think, it's a bare minimum to maintain an industry, a creative industry, which is competitive on one side, but at the same time, and that is the festival side, the distribution side, also to allow citizens to enjoy, to understand, to participate. And let me come to the role of festivals in the media program. The media program has always supported festivals and will continue to do so, also in the next programming period. And I think we have to reflect on a little paradox. Take the impressive success of the Venice Festival, thanks to the work of President Baratta and his team, which I really commend for the efforts. The Venice Festival, every edition, it's more popular. Every edition has more media coverage, has more events. So in the world where people tend to consume very much online audiovisual products, where the online consumption is going up and up. So all of us in our little cocoon watching, audiovisual products. A movie festival, it's increasing in importance. It's not just Venice, it's not just Berlin, it's not just Cannes. All the festivals we have in Europe have seen an increase of interest. So in a society that consumes more online, you might wonder why there's such an interest in festivals. Well, I give you my explanation, need not to be the explanation, but what I see is that people, and that you see from the data we have about the willingness of people to visit, to understand culture, they have much more interest, maybe also because thanks to Europe it's cheaper to travel. I mean, to travel, to move, to understand. And I mean, also, they value the unique opportunity that a festival is. It's a unique moment where new content is revealed, so there's the emotional moment of something new. This is a discovery moment. There's something magic around the atmosphere of a festival, and also there's something very important for the professional market, because here we are in the film market, so also for the professional actors. Although they might sell the product online, they need to meet. So for all these reasons, in spite of the online world growing and growing, we see festivals blooming, and we are very happy about this. So there's no contradiction about the new way of distributing audiovisual products and having an healthy community of festivals. And I mean, what we want to discuss with you, not that it's a decision we can impose, but it's a proposal we make. I think the various festivals in Europe can be more cooperative, can be working together a bit more in order to create a community of festivals that can work with us and with European institutions to a little bit suggest new ideas, exchange views, understand how to work together also with all the other actors. And let me come to something that is a bit complicated, controversial, but it's part of the discussion I hope we'll have this afternoon. The relation between a festival and the distribution of the products of the festival. When I was in Berlin this year, I met a couple of startups, successful startups, that are now screening in parallel for the professional market the movies of festivals. Now, I think this cannot be done, it should not be done for the reasons I said before for the general public. So the moment there's a premiere in Venice, has to be the premiere of Venice, has to be the premiere in Cannes, has to be the premiere in Santander. But it might be the opening of a tale, of a long tale, of a series of events that can take place in cinemas and can take place online. So why not thinking, for instance, on the VOD catalogs to have a special section for a festival, so that you link, I mean, what people see. Because, I mean, millions of people read about the Venice Festival, hundreds of millions, but only few can be here. But they are interested. So why not offering, maybe not at the same time, but the possibility of a special emotion online, a special emotion in the cinemas. So this kind of long tail can be an interesting cooperation between festivals, cinemas, and online distributors. All of this, I don't think it's me, I mean, or my team telling you, do that. This is not the way it works. It's you that have to tell us whether such a thing, such an idea, such a cooperation can work. The other theme where you have to tell us is, for instance, what President Baratta has started here as a very interesting experiment, to have actually the Cinema Academy together with the festival. So to mix a little bit, I mean, the blockbusters, the products which are, let's say, more for a restricted distribution in terms of likings of the public, I mean, and the new incoming directors, creators that are entering, I mean, the cinema scenario. This possibility of having the window of the festival, the spotlight of the festival, is extremely challenging, it's extremely motivating for a young director, for a young artist. So is it a model that we can replicate elsewhere? Is it a model for cooperation between, I mean, those that are already entering this and others that are interested? I mean, all of you representing festivals are successful, so I don't think there should be a jealousy, yeah, but if I cooperate with the other festival, I will lose interest, I mean, because all the festivals are somehow unique. All the festivals are special, and they take place in different places. So we do think there's value in cooperation. We do think that there's value in discussing how to enrich the value of a festival with online presence, with presence in other screening possibilities. We think there's value in discussing how the festival can be the possibility to be the launch pad for new artists, for new creators. But once again, this is not up to us, the European Commission, to tell you what to do. It's up to you. That's why we, together with the friends of the Venice Festival, we organized this debate today. So we will be very, very attentive to the discussions. We come with a proposal to cooperate more as a group of festivals and cooperate with us, but also we will listen attentively to what are your comments on this. So long life to festivals, long life not only to Venice, but all the festivals, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. My name's Damon Wise, and welcome to this panel on creating buzz. I'd like to bring up our two guests this afternoon, please. First of all, Laurence Herszberg, who's the General Director of Lille Séries Mania. Oh, I didn't see you sitting there, sorry. And then from San Sebastián, where he's the Director, we have José Luis Rebordinos. Just a quick point, actually. José, what language are you comfortable in speaking? As a speaker of French and English, which would you prefer? Or Spanish?
I will speak in Spanish because for me it's better to explain my ideas. Sorry. But I can understand English and I can understand French, but I prefer speaking in Spanish.
Yeah. A question for both of you to start with. How do you go about creating buzz? What is buzz with regard to a festival?
I'm sorry, we didn't hear the question.
What do you think of when you think of the word buzz, and how do you create buzz at your festival?
Oh, okay. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I think the only kind of my species, because I'm running a festival only and entirely dedicated to new TV series from all over the world. So we're all watching TV series, and we're all watching TV series home, on our TV, less and less, or on, iPad or computers, etc., etc. So the buzz, which means before, the release online on a TV show is very important and more important now for TV series. And the buzz is both for the industry and for the audience, because there are so many TV series produced all over the world, people don't know which one to see. And if we start talking about Netflix, very difficult to see what to see in Netflix. So the festival is the first and starting point of an old, marketing process before the release in a country or worldwide of a TV series. And as my experience is also from cinema, that's very normal in cinema, but that's very new in TV series. So what we do is that we created this festival both for the industry and European industry and also for the audience. And it's not that easy to gather people around 2 episodes of a new show that they don't know anything about in a theater. That's very common for cinema, but very unusual for TV series, which is, you know, a very individual experience. And festival starts, just like Series Mania, starts creating the buzz, and especially is a real help to promote TV series for the industry and for them to be bought, you know, by other countries. I will just give one example and then let José Luis take place. For the last 2 years, 2 Israeli shows won the competition at Series Mania Lille. And those 2 Israeli shows were then bought. The first one, Your Honor, was bought in more than 20 territories, and the second one, On the Spectrum, which is on autism, is also circulating very well in Europe and has already rights remake in the US. And that thanks to the selection of a festival which helps the industry to recognize which show is a good show or not.
La pregunta era cómo podemos colaborar los festivales entre nosotros de cine y televisión. Sí, acabo de entender la pregunta.
Oh, no, create buzz. How do we create a buzz around a TV series or a movie?
Bueno, yo creo que eso, el mundo de los festivales, yo puedo hablar sobre todo del mundo de los festivales relacionados con el cine, y lo primero que querría decir es que lo haré desde la prudencia más absoluta, porque tengo la impresión que lo que vale para hoy y para mañana probablemente no valdrá para dentro de 3 o 4 años. Es decir, que lo que estamos aquí discutiendo de crear una línea general de colaboración me parece muy interesante, pero siendo conscientes que los cambios se producen con muchísima rapidez. Los festivales hemos sido siempre una forma alternativa de exhibición y de promoción de las películas, y creo que lo somos más todavía ahora, en estos momentos en que todo va tan rápido. De hecho, las cosas están cambiando. Comentábamos hace poco el tema de los festivales de cine y la necesidad de premieres mundiales o premieres europeas. Esto está cambiando precisamente para poder defender mejor las películas, quitando probablemente 2 o 3 festivales, estamos hablando de Cannes, Venecia y Berlín. Los demás festivales tenemos que replantearnos qué es lo mejor para una película, no solo lo que es lo mejor para nosotros. Por eso, una forma de hacer que las películas se puedan promocionar mejor muchas veces es creando pequeños circuitos de festivales que ya empiezan a existir. Es decir, es bastante normal que una película haga Toronto-San Sebastián, Londres-Zúrich, o Telluride-Toronto-San Sebastián, o que haga Venecia-Telluride, o incluso que haga Sundance-Berlín. Es decir, cada vez es más normal que estos circuitos se creen. O comentaba también hace poco que muchos de los grandes blockbusters americanos que se van a ver aquí, en septiembre van a tener su gira por Europa con algunos de los talentos, ¿no? Entonces, yo creo que una buena forma de hacer, en el caso de los festivales de cine, desconozco la realidad de los de televisión, porque son obviamente mucho más nuevos y diferentes, creo que es colaborar a la hora de la programación entre distintos festivales, porque creo que para una película es bueno hacer diferentes espacios.
Do you have anything to add to that?
Excuse me?
Do you have anything to add?
I think you're right, José Luis. The world is changing in our industry, and the role of festival is also very much changing. Years back, I mean, it was just a cherry on the cake to be in festival, because all films were more or less finally finding distribution let's say, in European countries. It's no more the case. So by picking up one festival, but that the starting point of the international career of the film or the TV series is very important. And you're right that each festival has its identity. So you're right that its cinema festival have to cooperate without losing their identity. As for my TV series festival, it's a bit different because I'm the unique one in Europe only dealing with TV series. But I also think that for the sake of the TV shows, it's interesting that I do cooperate with other institutions. And for instance, here in the room, there is someone, you know, representing the Ukrainian festival. And I know it's not exactly in Europe, but it's good that all those European works travel to other countries, and that in return, I got interested in everything that's going on in this area. I also have a cooperation with the Biennale, and we do have a common project that is in their the series days, and that I take then in my co-production forum among the 16 I select. What I think is very important for festival is that they still keep being a meeting point of the industry. That's very natural in cinema. People from the cinema world, they travel a lot, and they go from festival to festival, and that's why it's a good question to pick up your right festival. In the TV business, before we started creating Series Mania and this habit of co-producing, that we started to tell them, you have to do like cinema, otherwise you're dead, they didn't know how to network. So what is very important in festival, that this quality of relationship between the industry people, it's still there, because that's a place where you exchange about new projects, about where territories you need, you know, just to find to release your film or TV series.
Now, both your events take place in like 10 days and 12 days of the year. Is it something that you just build towards each year, or is this process a year-round thing? Is it something that you should be doing 12 months a year, or do you put special focus on it when your festivals are nearby?
Una cosa que a mí me parece muy importante a la hora de hablar de los festivales, cuando se habla de si sobran festivales, tenemos mucha competencia entre muchos festivales, yo me atrevería a decir que no sobran muchos festivales, que lo que sobran es muchos festivales iguales, que lo que hace falta es que cada festival que exista tenga su personalidad, tenga algo por lo que sea realmente importante. Y pongo un ejemplo muy claro. Obviamente, si hablamos de los tres grandes festivales competitivos, estamos hablando de Cannes, Berlín y Venecia. Pero si yo quiero enterarme qué está pasando en la industria de los países del este de Europa, iría a Carlo Vivari. Es decir, cada festival no es importante solo por su tamaño, es importante por su personalidad y por aquello que aporta. En nuestro caso, tenemos varias líneas editoriales claras, y una de ellas es convertirnos en un festival de todo el año. En estos momentos en San Sebastián hemos creado junto a otras dos instituciones una escuela de cine que empieza precisamente en septiembre. Y una de las especializaciones de esa escuela de cine tiene que ver con la programación y la crítica cinematográfica. Y el propio festival ha creado una asignatura y un programa de todo el año. Al mismo tiempo, durante el año, estamos trabajando en un programa de residencias para proyectos de nuevos directores. ¿Por qué? Porque, como han comentado en la introducción, es muy importante acompañar las películas para festivales como el nuestro, que trabajamos con los nuevos talentos desde el comienzo del proyecto hasta el final. Por eso tenemos esta residencia de proyectos durante el año, con una residencia de 6 semanas. Por eso tenemos durante el festival Next Film Students, que es un concurso y un encuentro de estudiantes de cine. Luego tenemos Work in Progress para la gente que ya está haciendo esos proyectos, y luego esos proyectos pueden salir en distintas secciones. Acompañamos las películas desde que están empezando, desde que están aprendiendo en la escuela hasta que las películas son una realidad. Por eso a nosotros nos gusta decir, y lo decimos mucho, que queremos ser un festival de todo el año y que trabajamos todo el año preparando los 9 días que luego son el festival.
I agree with José Luis saying that festival should be more than a 9 days activity. Usually it's a lot of public money involved in a festival coming from your state or from the media program. So we have to have an impact all year long, and that's what we're also trying to start to do with Series Mania. First of all, we have the collaboration with the Torino Film Lab that we called Series Lab, so that there is a session all year long to make people write for their series, because we know that the key element in series is about writing. Then, just like you're doing, so it's a help for all the people that will, produce their shows in a way. And then after that, we do a lot of things for the region, which is not a very rich region in France. The Lille region is rather a poor region, so that coming from taking 1 or 2 shows that we've already premiered in a festival, and not French shows, but Israelis, British, or, I don't know, Russian shows, we take them and go to the schools and explain what it is about and what society, what aspect of the society it reflects from other part of the world. So the festival has also a role just to, in a way, educate people about what's going on in the world. So I really think it's very important to have all your activities if your finances permit it.
Muy brevemente, yo es que creo que prácticamente casi todos los festivales trabajamos ya conjuntamente. Todos tenemos relación con Berlín en Culinary Cinema, tenemos relación con Cannes para Coproduction Forum, trabajamos con Toulouse en Cine en Construcción, hacemos algo con Guadalajara, México, trabajamos con Ventana Sur. Casi todos los festivales trabajamos con otros festivales. El tema sería cómo hacerlo de una manera más sistemática o más estructural. Creo que eso es lo que es complicado. Pero realmente yo sí tengo la impresión de que creo que casi todos los festivales medianamente sensatos tienen ya sus relaciones con otros festivales.
It's a good question to just, do we have to do it on a very, I don't know how you say that in English, because I was listening to the French translation, structured organization, or do we have to leave it to the festivals themselves? And that's a question that you addressed. We all collaborate, there is very few festivals that just stand alone. So, and we do have collaboration with other festivals all around the world. But we do choose them because, as you said, José Luis, we all have our own identity. So it's very interesting to say, and just to analyze the role of the Commission for that. What I understood from your reflection, but you put it as a question, do we have to do it systematically or not? And that's a good point. If you push us to do it systematically, you will shift our identities. You can encourage us to do that more, but we all need your support, and the media support is just, I could not have done Series Mania without the huge support of media. But if from the start you ask me to collaborate with other festivals, there is a twist in my identity, because my world is a world in change, that is changing, and I'm in a way creating this category of TV series festival. So do you have to be with us and just to observe which partnership we have, or do you have to say, now I really want you to build a network of, let's say, 3 or 4 festivals? I am not sure that it will help the films. First of all, because there are so many films that are looking for festival just to be the start of distribution, or films that are difficulties to find distribution, that by doing that, you might, do a switch in our policies, I don't know, but it's something that has to be taken with, just to be very careful about.
You've both talked about establishing your festival's identity. How important is the internet, and how do you use things like streaming, social media? How do you use the internet in terms of creating a profile for yourself that's bigger than your local identity?
Es muy importante, cada vez más es una obviedad, ¿no? Pero de la misma manera que he empezado diciendo que hay que ser muy prudentes a la hora o por lo menos yo intento ser muy prudente, creo que también con este tema hay que ser prudente, y me voy a explicar. Por un lado, a nosotros nos ha dado muchas posibilidades. Tenemos una base de datos para mí estupenda, que nos va a permitir el año que viene, por ejemplo, saber de las 2000 y pico películas que vemos al año, cuántas están dirigidas por mujeres, cuántas están producidas, cuántas tienen directoras de fotografía mujeres, cuántas montadoras, etcétera, etcétera. Y luego de ahí sabremos cuántas hemos elegido de ese porcentaje. Bueno, en este caso, los avances en la técnica nos van a permitir realmente hacer un mapa real de lo que está pasando con el cine dirigido por mujeres, en este momento que se habla tanto y que a veces se dicen cosas que cuando estás dentro de un festival pues no son exactamente, no se ajustan a la realidad. Entonces, nos permite tener un acceso a los datos maravilloso, nos permite llegar de una manera directa y rápida a la gente, nos permite tener una videoteca para que los profesionales puedan visionar durante un mes después un montón de películas. La mayoría son ventajas. Nos permite que las ruedas de prensa, los encuentros con la prensa sean en streaming, maravilloso para la prensa, pero también hace que el número de gente que va a las ruedas de prensa esté bajando. Tenemos que irnos adaptando a esto. Lo que antes una rueda multitudinaria, una rueda de prensa, ahora resulta que hay 200 personas que la están siguiendo desde el hotel porque la estás ofreciendo en directo. Bueno, esto también cambia. Pasa lo mismo con ofrecer las películas al mismo tiempo al día siguiente que se proyecten en un festival en streaming. Tiene sus ventajas y sus inconvenientes. Primero hay que ser conscientes que esto todavía solo se da con las películas que creen que luego no van a tener ninguna posibilidad real comercial, porque esas no aceptan estar en streaming. Pero ¿qué está pasando? Que a veces de pronto una película que está en Cannes o está en Venecia, si al día siguiente está en streaming, tú no la puedes poner ya en tu festival, ni siquiera en una sección paralela, porque está estrenada en todo el mundo. Lo que se está haciendo es conseguir pues, que para los países donde luego va no se pueda ver. Pero bueno, eso está haciendo que tenga un circuito más pequeño de festivales. Por eso digo que estamos asistiendo a un montón de cosas nuevas, tenemos juguetes nuevos, que estamos usándolos, que en general nos suponen muchas ventajas, pero que seamos conscientes que necesitamos un tiempo para ajustarlos, ¿no? Porque a veces no todos los juguetes nuevos, no todo lo que parece estupendo es tan estupendo y a veces tiene temas negativos, pero en general usamos los nuevos sistemas, los nuevos dispositivos y las nuevas fórmulas para todo, es decir, ya prácticamente todo lo tenemos en la red y prácticamente todos los actos los tenemos en streaming.
Our problem is a bit different because when you're talking about TV series, everything is online. So, I mean, the role of the festival is to bring the audience to see only 2 episodes of a new series, and it's something that they usually watch, you know, on their computer or iPhone, and to go to the theater. But as you said, we're anyway using that. But as for the video library that we launched for the new TV shows, and we are the only one who are doing a selection from all over the world. So we're the only one in capacity to say this new Russian show is a new one, is a good one, or this Australian show is a new one. The video library is only open after the screening in the festival, so that the industry don't watch it from their, room. And then it's very different. We can only open this video library for 2 weeks because the right holders in TV programs are really restrictive. But we're using the new technologies in another way. We all know about the role of press for the success of our films or TV shows. But we also know that there are less and less, unfortunately, less and less people, reading the press, and that the press can be mixed. So that we created a jury of bloggers, meaning that the bloggers, they are usually young people, they are just totally addicted to, it could be to gender film, to thrillers, or in my case, to TV series. And those can, do something for the success of the film. So we do invite a lot of bloggers, of all young people. So now we created this jury of young people, from high school people, and they can, in that case, watch all the films, the series online, and we use that, just to help to promote the series.
José, how do you feel about streaming? We hear a lot that television is the new cinema. As a film festival, how do you approach, what are your thoughts on serial television?
No, no estoy de acuerdo, es decir, vamos, pero tampoco creo que sea un tema especialmente problemático. Nos olvidamos que ya hubo una generación de la televisión maravillosa en los 60-70. Lo que ha cambiado no es que la televisión ahora sea muchísimo mejor para mí, sino simplemente que tenemos una serie de dispositivos electrónicos y una manera de llegar a la gente mucho mejor. Es decir, y luego que cada vez más hay todo tipo de televisión. Es decir, por ejemplo, en España ahora se está produciendo el fenómeno de mucha televisión, pero hecha por directores de cine que tienen una larga carrera. Movistar Televisión está produciendo en esa línea, ¿no? Los que hacen las series son los grandes directores españoles conocidos, ¿no? Entonces, yo creo que la televisión y el cine tienen su espacio, que es un espacio donde los límites cada vez están más indefinidos, pero no me parece ningún problema. Creo que a veces hay productos muy de televisión que no tienen ningún sentido en una sala de cine y otros que lo pueden tener, es decir, y no pasa nada. Es decir, yo creo que se puede encontrar acomodo a todo este tipo de cosas, ¿no? No creo que la televisión sea nuevo el cine, creo que si está la televisión está el cine, pero hay unas líneas en común mucho más claras que las que había antes, ¿no? Como pasa con la ficción y la no ficción. Es decir, creo que el cine evoluciona, el cine cambia y entonces, bueno, pues cada vez tiene una mayor complejidad, ¿no? El audiovisual, perdón. Yo creo que tenemos que hablar más del audiovisual que del cine.
What do you think about the practice of putting content online? What do you think of the concept of putting content online? Because sometimes here at the Venice Film Festival, they've had a virtual screening room where people who are not at your festival can see shorts maybe that you're programming. Do you see that as being a part of festivals going forward?
Yo creo que tiene todo el sentido del mundo. Vamos a ver, ahora hay el gran debate, sobre todo alrededor de Netflix, sobre las películas, si hay que verlas en sala de cine sí o sí o no. Obviamente creo que a los que nos gusta el cine preferimos que las películas se vean en una sala de cine. Pero yo, la mayor parte de los clásicos que he visto en mi vida los he visto en la televisión. Y prefiero haberlos visto así a no haberlos visto. Seamos conscientes de que a veces cuando decimos no, se tienen que ver en una sala de cine, hablamos desde el primer mundo. ¿A qué me refiero con el primer mundo? Aquellos que vivimos en ciudades donde tenemos la suerte de tener salas donde podemos ver cine. Pero la mayor parte de los ciudadanos del mundo no tienen acceso a esas salas. Fenómenos como las plataformas, como la posibilidad de las salas online, permiten que puedan ver esas películas. Entonces creo que lo decía Cuarón aquí, que bueno, ha presentado su película, que me aprovecho para felicitarle y a Venecia también porque me parece una obra maestra absoluta. Es una película Netflix y precisamente es una película que la experiencia en sala es increíble, porque la imagen y el sonido es increíble. Pero como muy bien decía él, qué bien que se vea en salas, pero prefiero que millones de personas la vean online a que no la vean. Yo estoy totalmente de acuerdo con eso. Entonces creo que hoy en este mundo tan global, tan diversificado, tenemos instrumentos para llegar a más gente. Bueno, a veces en condiciones que no son las óptimas, pero nada es blanco ni negro, ¿no? Entonces yo soy optimista respecto a este fenómeno, ¿no? Respecto a que creo que cada vez más el cine, el audiovisual va a llegar a más gente, ¿no?
I cannot say anything about that because, you know, TV, but I wanted to go back to, you know, the subject of the buzz and of the promoting of the film or TV series. As we're, you know, as Series Mania, we have the fortune to, we'll be fortunate enough just to establish our own roles. And what is very important also is that all those European shows travel abroad and be able to face the very tough competition in budget from the US. So what I'm doing now is that I'm creating other Series Mania festival in very far away region of the world. I already created Series Mania Melbourne in Australia, and I'm taking some of the European shows to Melbourne, and two of them were, you know, actually bought during the last edition in July of Melbourne. And I want to create three other Series Mania. I don't know if I'll succeed. One in the Asia, one in the Arabic country, and maybe one in South America. Because I think in my field, you know, TV series, the competition is fierceful, you know, with all these big American shows. But the creativity is still European, and that's why some of the studios or platforms are stealing and trying to attract our producers, and our artists. So we have to be strong in Europe and I don't see my festival as a French festival. It's a launching platform for European TV shows. And that's why I'm creating those events, you know, in those other regions. So what I mean is that a festival has also a very, very important business role to play.
You both have a very, what's the word, a very active sort of production aspect of both your festivals. I wonder, how important are they to the festival, and what do they bring and what do they add to the festival as a whole? Your work in progress, there is that kind of the business-to-business aspect of it.
Bueno, yo creo que lo comentábamos hoy, ¿no? Yo creo que hoy en día hay dos grandes mercados en los festivales competitivos, que son Cannes y Berlín, pero luego hay otros muchos festivales como este, o como intentamos nosotros con nuestras características propias, que tenemos actividades de industria que permiten a la industria dos cosas fundamentales. Una, hacer negocio, no olvidemos que es una cosa fundamental, y otra también muy importante, intercambiar experiencias. Por eso yo pienso que tenemos que seguir defendiendo los festivales como un lugar de encuentro y tener cuidado cómo evolucionamos los festivales en la línea de los festivales online, es decir, que son importantes, pero es importante un espacio físico de encuentro y donde se pueda hacer negocio, ¿no? Entonces yo creo que los festivales tenemos una serie de actividades que nos permiten esto. Nosotros tenemos un foro de coproducción entre Europa y América Latina, donde cada año hay 16 proyectos que vamos descubriendo a lo largo de los años que se están realizando el 70-75% de los proyectos, es decir, que la mayoría acaban encontrando la financiación que les falta y muchas de esas películas acaban saliendo además por los grandes festivales. Tenemos unos work in progress, tanto para cine latinoamericano como para cine europeo hecho en lenguas no hegemónicas, lo que llamamos Local in Progress, que el premio es precisamente la postproducción entera de la película, ¿no? Hasta la copia final, en DCP y subtitulada, ¿no? Bueno, creo que tenemos cosas muy concretas, los festivales, que tenemos actividades de industria que permiten no solo lo que es la distribución, sino también ayudan a la producción, ¿no? Eso creo que es muy, muy concreto, ¿no? como un objetivo fundamental de los festivales.
Laurence?
I'm not sure, I think I already answered by saying that we have that festival, I mean, in TV, I mean, we have a major role in helping the European industry to develop. That's why we have a co-production forum, and we see the need of that because we select every year 15 TV shows, and this year from all over the world except from the US, and we received 390 projects. So to select 15 projects out of 390 and to imagine which is going to be for the general audience, which is going to be for a small channel, which one we have to balance between all the countries, it's very difficult. And we give 50,000 euro to the best project pitch at the festival. Because we think that all this public money, or the money coming from media, has also an interest for the development of the industry. So that's major important. But I don't forget about the role of a festival to be a unique moment for the general audience to gather. That's very important, and we know that we also have a role to make people still like to go to the movies to discover about new films or new TV shows. For instance, at the closing ceremony of Series Mania this year, we had Babylon Berlin, this great German show screened for the audience. You might not know, but all TV festivals have to be free entrance for the public. Thanks to the American, and okay, I won't go into detail, but it has to be free. So we welcome, a very, very popular audience. And I'm sure that, let's say, 50% of this audience have never seen or watched or attended a 2-year program in German with French subtitles on Germany in the 20s, and no one left the room. And that's also the role of a festival. And that's very important to me, and that's why I'm doing it, you know?
Yeah. You both get support from media. How would you like to see that support evolve over the coming years?
Los medios de comunicación, de más media.
Oh, sorry. Not translated.
No, that's not the question. Tu veux que je commence? Non, vas-y. Allez, vas-y,
Ok, y lo he traduit un peu bizarre. Para nosotros la ayuda de media es fundamental, la ayuda económica es fundamental. Y aparte de eso, aparte de la ayuda económica, creo que media tiene un poco debe tener la función de establecer este tipo de debates. Es decir, cuando estamos diciendo que todo está cambiando muy rápido, creo que media tiene que ser alguien con la capacidad para aglutinarnos a todos los festivales, para establecer una relación dialéctica entre todos, para que podamos discutir cuál debe ser el futuro, y media nos debería ayudar un poco a caminar juntos. Antes comentabas que de alguna forma necesitamos que media también nos ayude, ¿no? Es decir, a la hora de esa estructuración de la colaboración entre festivales, yo creo que la labor de media va a ser muy importante también. Es decir, creo que de alguna forma tienen que establecer unas bases de hacia dónde queremos ir como Europa. Y luego cada uno de nosotros, con nuestras características, con nuestra personalidad, tendremos que encontrar nuestro hueco, ¿no? Pero yo creo que al final los festivales ya estamos colaborando. Ya estamos colaborando. Es que si hacemos una lista aquí sería interminable de cosas que hacemos unos y otros. Vamos a ver cómo podemos hacerlo de una forma más sistemática. Eso sí que creo que es importante, porque creo que hoy en día no se hace. Es decir, son más fruto de colaboraciones que vamos haciendo en función de nuestras necesidades más primarias, ¿no? Pero busquemos la manera de hacerlo de una manera más sistemática.
What I would like to say is that media has a key role in Europe for, you know, the creation, the production and the circulation of our works. And media has a key role to build this European identity that we're all looking for. And we know that festivals are always representative of some part of this European identity. So we would not be able to do it without media. What I agree with you by saying that media should push for us, you know, just to discuss more and to see each other more. And sometimes we don't really know about the rules for media. Does media have a central role to push us to collaborate, as we're already doing it? I'm not sure. What is fundamental in the media help is that it's, as Mr. Viola said, 0.01% of the European budget, which means that the European values, and we all here represent European values through media, is only 0.01% of the whole European effort. And I think it's not really a lot.
Anything more to say? Do you have anything to add? I'm afraid that's all we have time for anyway. No, she was just giving me the signal to stop. I'm afraid that's all we have time for. Thank you to the panel and thank you for staying. Can I just introduce you now to Mayor Capello, who will be hosting the next session.
So, really good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the second part of the European Film Forum. I will have the pleasure of moderating a discussion with 5 distinguished festival players, and I will lead a panel discussion where we will consider 2 topics. The first is how have festivals evolved over the years, and in terms of collaboration, what kind of impact does that have? And then the second question, how does the impact of the new media program in terms of improving networks will work that in practice? So these are the two angles. To do this, I will have the help of, as I mentioned, 5 distinguished panelists. I would like to call them up, and I start with José Luis Cienfuegos. If you can start, come up. José Luis is Festival Director of Seville European Film Festival. You can take the place over there. Long experience with festivals. He will tell us then how many years you've been working with that. I will not exploit the emotion. We have then Juliette Duret. Juliette Duret has a very particular experience because she's head of cinema at the Center for Fine Arts in Brussels, BOZAR. So technically not a festival, where we will discover why she is also here with us. We have then Chiraz Latiri. Chiraz, she is Director General of the Tunisian National Cinema and Image Center, and she will help us bring in the perspective of the non-European context and how this can help promote Europe outside our borders. Orwa Nirabia is Artistic Director of the International Documentary Film Festival in Amsterdam, is one of the biggest in the world, and he will tell us more about his experience. And last but not least, it's Ulrich Wegenast. He is Managing Director of the Stuttgart International Festival of Animated Film. So here we have another point of view in terms of specificities of festivals. Now, I called you in alphabetical order, but I will not do it necessarily alphabetically. But José Luis, I will nonetheless start with you. You have a long experience. You were a festival director already at the Gijón International Film Festival, many years along. The Seville Film Festival is specialized on contemporary European films, but you have certainly seen how the role of festival has evolved over the years. I would very much like if you could give us a short little snapshot on how this has happened over time.
Okay. Hello everybody. Good afternoon. Okay. First of all, I believe that the festival have to gain the confidence of the audience, the media, the filmmakers, and the distributors. And the first thing is to build a festival with a very clear criteria and to create a special atmosphere. For me, it's the first thing, to gain the credibility of the festival. To have or to get your own voice. For me, it's the first thing. When I was directing Gijón for 14 years, and now in Seville as a specialized film festival, only in European cinema. So the media, the filmmakers, everybody has to trust in the festival you are organizing. A festival without barriers between the public and the professionals, between the public and the filmmakers, and to create, as I said, a special community. So you have to take care of the filmmakers, you have to take care and you have to have good, it's very important to have good projections conditions, and you have to build a festival recognizable but not predictable, because that thing is very, very dangerous for a programmer. I like to say that Seville, CEF, Seville European Film Festival, is a festival in a quiet permanent revolution. You can repeat the same scheme, the same programming every year, because at the end, people and the journalists leave the festival and they try other fresh and new film festival. And on the other hand, you have to try a good balance between with films that come to the festival with local distributors, because it's very important a festival to promote the film when the film will be released in your country. But at the same time, it's very important to have on the program films without distributor in your country. So that balance, it works. Believe me, is the best. Is the best for the festival.
What about the European films? Do they play a leading role in the festivals that you have experience with?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned, of course, they give a special room to the films with no future. That seems a little bit from your word. Those who have no alternative distribution channel, but there are also many films that, of course, see the theatrical. Yeah. And what about the quantity and amount of European films?
90 or 90%.
So
it's a Seville European Film Festival. So, the motto of a Seville Film Festival is this is European cinema. And at the same time, it's very important to transmit to the people, to the film goers and the journalists, please don't be obsessed. Don't try to get or to find a masterpiece in every session. So a festival is something different. It's a different way of living the cinema. Yeah.
The Seville Film Festival is, let's say, a generalistic festival because you are not targeted into a specific genre. But Ulrich, you have experience with a very specific target since we are talking about animation. And I was wondering if creating buzz around animation requires something special. Is there something that you want to share with the audience from your point of view, since we are now moving from a wider generalistic festival to a more genre-specific one? And then I might ask the same question to you as well, Orva. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we are outsiders in the festival world, but we are becoming very big outsiders so far. So my festival has around 100,000 spectators, and with animation it's still a very new art form. So you see a picture, so we have this open air screening which starts in the afternoon, and especially in Germany we have the situation that animation is considered as a children's film genre. We don't consider animation as a film genre, we consider it as a medium. That means we reach new target groups between 16 to 30, I would say, coming from the games world, from the VR world, even from the art world. So I think we don't have the classical festival goers who prefer to go to Biennale. So we are a niche, but this niche also, thanks to online development, becomes bigger and bigger. One of our main sponsors is Amazon, so we are cooperating with a giant in the online world, and it helps us to develop new target groups, but indeed we have to stay critical also towards this sponsor. So yes, I think we can create through our formats and our medium new target groups which normally wouldn't go to the cinema. So we try to seduce them to go to the cinema, starting with the open air, which is free of admission, and then we've showed the big blockbusters together with companies like Disney, which provide the films for free for the festival, and then we show that the animation world is much more than Disney. It's European and it's global, it's diverse, there are a lot of regional aspects. So I think step by step, we start with 20,000 spectators, now we reach 100,000. So I think it has to do with animation itself, and it has to do with the platforms and the cooperations with online partners and cultural partners. So we have around 80 corporations which help to reach target groups which normally wouldn't go to a cinema.
You mentioned the magic word, cooperation, and we see from the picture here, that's the image from last year's festival, I think. From this year's festival, and it, I mean, you don't have only cooperation online, you have them also real life. And how could the cooperation be done in a more efficient way? You mentioned cooperation online, but would you cooperate with other animation festivals? Do you have already a sort of networking in place?
Yeah, so there indeed we are a media-funded festival, and I think that really opens a little bit our eyes as well to have a closer look to corporations and also to the so-called the low-capacity media countries. It's a nice European term. I love this term, but indeed there are so many great festivals, especially in Eastern Europe, and we have a very close cooperation. And indeed, to have a vivid, vital cooperation, it's not enough to exchange ads. So it comes to, and we will talk about this aspect of networking, and I think what Laurence Herszberg already said, it has to be volunteer cooperation, but I think the European community and the Commission and the agency could help us to improve these systematic cooperations. So we have those cooperations, we have that exchange of program, even of staff, but I think, yes, it could be more structured and it shouldn't be too much limited only to Europe. So we need a European, non-European festival cooperation. And I also think, and that's my last remark, it's also very helpful for an animation festival also to cooperate with non-animation festivals, because we can learn from each other. We know a lot about technology and how to present VR and so on, but I think if we would be too isolated if we just cooperate with animation festivals, what we already do, so we have to expand.
Sounds good. And you mentioned also cooperation with non-European, and this leads me to you, Chiraz, and also to a second picture. We will see a picture from the Mania Festival in Tunisia. And this has been the first time, the first edition, where I think Europe meets the non-Europe with the Mediterranean in common. So I was wondering, could you tell us a little bit about your experience, how this kind of cooperation between so many countries works or does not work, does it?
Thank you. Tout d'abord, je voudrais remercier au nom de mon pays et du Centre national du cinéma et de l'image. Je vous remercie pour cette invitation et d'avoir associé le CNCI à ce débat et à cette discussion. Je me trouve aujourd'hui représentant un pays qui n'est pas de l'Union européenne, mais la Tunisie, elle a aussi intégré le programme de Europe créative sans pour autant être aussi très active dans ce programme parce qu'on démarre depuis quelques mois. Je rejoins mes collègues pour dire que les festivals, dans notre perception en Tunisie, c'est considéré comme un rassemblement plutôt international et donc une vue plus large que Europe ou Afrique ou monde arabe. Et on a vécu une très belle expérience cet été parce que nous avons mis en place le festival Manarat en collaboration très étroite et directe avec le CNC français, puisque nous avons une collaboration très dynamique et très matérialisée par différents projets, notamment un fonds de coproduction. Et l'idée de proposer ce festival euro-méditerranéen, c'était à la base de dire, et nous avons été accompagnés par la commission, par le projet Média, ils étaient présents, ils ont présenté les différentes opportunités, et de dire qu'il y a quand même une mer, la Méditerranée, qui nous rassemble. Il se passe des choses au nord et aussi du sud, et se dire pourquoi ne pas se retrouver autour de ces images qui vont parler de ce qui se passe dans ces différents pays. Mais ce qui était surtout très fort sur le plan institutionnel, c'est que grâce à ce rassemblement, il y a eu la réunion des EFATS dans le cadre de Manarat, Et ça nous a permis également de créer le premier rassemblement des Arab Film Institutes, le Arab Film Institute Commission, où on se réunit maintenant 7 pays, Tunisie, Maroc, Algérie, Liban, Jordanie, Égypte et Palestine, puisqu'il y a le Palestine Film Institute qui vient d'être créé. Alors, cette rencontre, elle a permis déjà à des professionnels de se rencontrer. Elle a permis de découvrir aussi des cinémas de l'Europe qu'on ne connaît pas en Tunisie. Et le vecteur méditerranéen qui nous a réunis, il a aussi réuni par rapport à des problématiques sociétales communes, mais aussi il y a un écosystème de l'industrie de l'image d'une manière générale qui sont aussi problématiques communes, que ce soit en Europe ou ailleurs. Aujourd'hui, en Tunisie du moins, c'est une dynamique qui s'impose autour de l'image digitale et créative. On a une jeunesse qui est très portée vers tout ce qui est gaming, VR, et on a d'excellents codes.
Okay, I won't explain what does BOZAR exactly, but I will focus maybe my intervention on what we are doing in BOZAR regarding cinema. I know why I'm here, because I can only highlight the role of the European Film Festival. They are really a source of inspiration. They are the ones who are really seeking for new talent, and they are really discovering the future filmmakers. And what's important, this is not my job. I'm inspired by their job. So I consider European Film Festival as really harvest place to build my program. Because differently to a film festival, which is they need films at a very specific moment for a very specific time, we are working all the year long. And of course, we are following the festival. I really take the best of what they have. So they are curating, and I'm curating after, because if I would have to curate everything, I'm gaining time actually. And as we are in Brussels, so BOZAR, of course I didn't say everything, but BOZAR is it's the largest and oldest cultural institution in Belgium. The two big artistic departments are music and exhibition. Cinema is coming at the third level. Our focus is Europe. We are really seen as a European art and cultural center, even though, of course, we are working worldwide. So it's interesting for a film festival to have a platform at our place. I'm working with National Film Festival, and I'm working with International Film Festival. So briefly, some people say that we are like a film festival, but all the year long. The big difference is that we are not putting the film in competition. It's not the object for an art center. It's really, we focus on the artist, and we focus on the audience, reaching the audience, because we are only 50% of a budget comes from the state. The other 50% of the budget comes from the income, the sponsoring, organizing events for other bank or everything. So the box office is very important. So the audience is very important. And so we are really targeting.
And your work with the festivals, is that already, so to say, networked? Do you have a sort of structured way of working with the festivals?
Yes and no. I will give a small example. For instance, with the Forum of the Biennale, since 6 years, we have been welcoming them in BOZAR for a sort of decentralization. So they have a great program. It's really an artistic program. Without them, I couldn't put all those films together. We are not showing all the films. We are co-curating. They know, and I know my audience. I know what's the profile of BOZAR, how I can fill my room. And so we are proposing during 4 days the best of, not the best of, but a certain program, a certain inspiration program by the forum. We are working with Doc Leipzig, with Rotterdam. We are welcoming the IFFR, the live streaming of Rotterdam. We are working with the Golden Apricot Film Festival in Armenia. They are helping us to curate Armenian program, also working a bit, but not on a very formal way, with Odessa Film Festival, because we are showcasing also films from region. So I could speak.
I know you could speak until this evening, but I like what you. It seems all nice. So now I ask the bad question to you, Orwa. Is it all so good? Do you all collaborate, or is there also a little bit of competition? You are leading a very important documentary festival of Amsterdam, and how do you think the balance should be struck between collaboration and competition? Where do we have to move?
Hello. Yeah. It's quite a tricky question.
Of course, you have to conclude.
Thank you. We are the documentary. People think we're troublemakers. Yeah, I think of course it's not so happy altogether. It's generally speaking, I do think that festivals do have a very negative sense of competitiveness, and I think this is a big question that filmmakers always face us with. That we tend to fall into this ongoing sense of competition, we tend to advocate our turfs, we tend to fight over many things, not only premieres, but then it's probably filmmakers who come and say, this is ridiculous. And I think this is a very important element that is very commonly, if I may be the critical one to myself and to others, it's very commonly forgotten that the first partners of the festival are actually the filmmakers, not only the distributors, not only the financiers, and it's not a big corporation. We are working with the filmmakers and for them. And in many cases, I think we have to respect their critique. So what we see now is a very difficult moment in documentary because filmmakers are critical and loud. They don't take things for granted. And the question is, how can we overcome the negativity, the negative impact of requesting premieres from filmmakers or for films we screen or select?
Because everyone wants to shine in the sun, of course.
Yes, of course. Yeah. And it is not an easy thing because, of course, from the industry's viewpoint, that's how we set our edge. That's how we set our competitive value. And from another point, I think there's another added value that this competition introduces or adds, which is the fact that we all, as festivals, have this difficult task of keeping on discovering new talent, on keeping on discovering films that were not discovered by our colleagues. And I think this is added value because it's not like we end up with a few successful films every year and then we all take them into our competitions. No, we go dig. We go dig for more for films we didn't know about.
And what about the films that end their life in the festival? I mean, do you help them also in terms of distribution? Do you think festivals do the best they can there? Do they have to play a role?
I think it's a very delicate balance that I see in many different festivals, including IDFA, which is to balance the servicing we do to the buyers with the servicing we do with the filmmakers. So are we first or giving the priority to serving the buyers, or are we giving priority to the filmmakers? How can we balance these two? Do we know how to do we offer in our co-production platforms, in our IDFA forum, for example, in our Docs for Sale sales platform that we have in IDFA, do we offer films that we would select in the program?
Sure.
For example. And this, in this way, I think this is a very serious challenge to most festivals. In IDFA, it becomes clear because IDFA is big. Of course, it's different with documentary film because documentary film and filmmakers don't, mainly because of economic reasons, we do a lot, but it's not visible the same way like with fiction. So it's...
Since you say you do a lot, I will now use you to start the second round. You are a big festival. Now, the second round is about what kind of practices can be put in place in order to improve networks of festivals. So, could you imagine yourself as a sort of mentor for smaller festivals? Since you have, I mean, the Amsterdam Documentary Film Festival is a big one. Is there something that you could do? I mean, since we talked about competition, collaboration, could this be a way forward?
It absolutely is, but it's also part of this thing. You know, when I say that it's the smaller economy of documentary make us freer. So we talk now about connecting with online, and I have to mention that in IDFA, our new media platform, which is DocLab, showing the beginnings of VR until the most advanced VR is now. VR and new media of different kinds, immersive storytelling, digital, different kinds of forms of digital storytelling. This is 15 years old in IDFA now. And it's big, and it has good audience, and it has good tradition, but it is there because we can open up and discover these things. So when it comes to working with other festivals, part of IDFA is the IDFA Bertha Fund. And the IDFA Bertha Fund is one of the elements of IDFA. IDFA Bertha Fund has been supporting festivals continuously around the world, in the south of the world mostly, for I think something like 14 years, and it only stopped doing that 3 years ago. We're trying to return this element with a new program that we're trying to develop now. But this means that IDFA supported financially and in advice and in granting access and networking opportunities to festivals around the world.
You have done some mentoring already.
It is, but it is happening. The question, the thing is, how can we make sure that when we play this role, this is not also about us growing our territories and our competition with other bigger festivals.
On this, maybe Ulrich, I would like, because you, of course, have also a big experience. Another genre is animation. So, again, could you see mentoring? And second question, could you see the room for developing genre-specific networks? I mean, could that make sense? Do animation festivals cooperate with each other? Like, for example, we could imagine on documentaries, youth. How do you see this? Or should the structured cooperation be more general? What would be your advice?
Yeah, for me, it's a kind of a déjà vu with the networking discussion, because that was a big issue in the mid-90s until the 2000 years. There was a European coordination of film festivals, which was based in Brussels, and we had the staff program and things like this. I think in general the idea was good, the management was maybe not so good, but I think there are different levels and opportunities. Indeed, animation festivals, they have quite similar targets and they have similar experiences, but as I said before, sometimes it's good to have this kind of disruptive moment, to learn from a documentary film festival or to learn from a game event. So we should have multi-level cooperations. Yes, and we do have a new initiative. It's the European Animation Awards, which is taking place in Lille. And what I think what is nice with this new collaboration, it's not only festivals. There are producers, distributors, schools, festivals, and that's sometimes also very helpful, because festivals, indeed, we share common targets, but we have to have the other players involved in such collaborations, because otherwise it doesn't really work. So therefore, and every festival, and I just confirm what Laurence Herszberg said, it should be mutual, and it should be a moment which equalize everything. So we need the identity of the festivals, so it should be more fluid, like a genre cooperation we already now have in a way, but then start to find out new, not so known cooperations, like with other events.
Would you be afraid of losing your identity? I mean, I found it interesting what you said. Would you be fearing losing your identity if you had to cooperate in a structured way to get money from the Commission, for example, because this is what we're talking about? No? Just to
I
put the
think
cards
it's
on the table.
There are some moments, I think, yes. So we have like some criteria. We have the code of ethics, what a festival is and what not. Indeed, this is maybe the base to talk. What is a festival? Does it have to have a competition, yes or no, and so on. So I think there should be a common ground, code of ethics, but this shouldn't be too restrictive. So then I think you won't lose the identity. But if it's becoming too much regulative, then I have the fear that we lose our identity, because then we think, okay, we have to fulfill those rules and that rules. Indeed, the European Commission and the agency, they have to set up some rules, but I think they should be as flexible as possible, so because otherwise we, in a way, really lose this kind of identity. Because sometimes, and that's my final remark, for example, a festival in Europe, which brings in a lot of non-European films, or like from the Maghreb countries, that helps much more to develop European identity and kind of broad bridges to other countries and stable economic bridges and cultural bridges than just to focus on Europe. So we should be very self-confident. And I don't fear that I lose the festival identity, but we should have it in a very clever, multi-level way, then networks can help.
So losing identity, José Luis, I just wanted to get your input also on this. Your festivals is specialized on more contemporary films, discovering also new talents. You are not alone in this. How could you be best placed in order to satisfy the new requirement which is put in the proposal for the new media program? So networks, festivals, and identity. How is your view?
Okay, Seville is part of an association of 6 festivals, Moving Images, Open Borders. The other 5 are Linz, Cottbus, Palik, Les Arcs, and Scanorama. Different way of organizing a festival, different kind of programming, different sizes of festivals. And the collaboration is more than in terms of programming, more sharing experiences, and especially in focus on educational themes. And on the other hand, for me, I have to tell, is in terms of programming, for me it's easier to collaborate not with festival, but other kind of institutions or cultural centers.
With Juliette, for example.
Yeah. For example, Institute Cervantes from Spain. We are programming in collaboration with the Institute of Cervantes a retrospective about the new independent Spanish cinema. We choose 5 or 6 titles that now they are circulating for Latin America, Brazil, Hungarian, Germany, and maybe, I don't remember, maybe 10 or 12 different cities. Or for example, the retrospective we made last year dedicated to the Portuguese filmmakers, Cordeiro and Reis. We received the last week from an email from Mexico asking subtitles and asking collaboration with us. So you
do a lot of cooperation with non-European festivals as well. So you can cooperate, all the 3 of you, in the future. I mean, with institutions and non-European festivals, indeed, it's. And do you think that, for example, just putting yourself in the shoes of Chiraz, could she do something for you? At her festival, promoting, for example, letting your works travel. The idea of the new media program is to promote the networks that let the non-national films travel.
Sometimes you are programming whole the year, because the dates, the exact dates of the festival are very complicated. But if you organize whole the year, different retrospectives or cycles, you can open the way you are programming.
And Chiraz, what could you do for José Luis? You are quite experienced with the traveling programs. So what does it exactly mean in terms of improving circulation of the works? Do you think you could do something for a European festival?
Absolument. Si on parle de la mise en réseau des échanges dans les festivals, je pense que avoir un réseau unique qui va avoir une identité européenne, ça veut dire exclure tous les festivals qui seront non européens. Et au fait, chaque festival, il a son identité, il a sa ligne éditoriale, il a aussi son public. Et donc moi, je pense que un pays non européen, méditerranéen ou africain ou arabe, et qui s'ouvrent et qui sont souvent ouverts au cinéma européen et aux pays européens, c'est plutôt penser à une forme de cinéma itinérant, c'est-à-dire, par exemple, avoir une fenêtre dans votre festival sur le cinéma tunisien ou marocain ou maghrébin, et inversement, recevoir dans nos festivals des focus d'autres pays européens que le public va découvrir, et Dieu seul sait quelle est la qualité du public dans les festivals.
And you mentioned the audience. Vous avez mentionné le public qui
est très très averti, qui est très engagé et qui est très curieux surtout. Donc moi j'ai écouté tout à l'heure Laurence. Si vraiment l'objectif est de dire que vous voulez avoir une identité européenne, donc tout pays qui est hors Europe va certainement être pénalisé, y compris avec son image. Et donc moi je suis plus dans une logique où l'image digitale par le cinéma, par le games, par la vidéo, c'est une image internationale et universelle. Le partenariat doit être plus culturel et l'échange que géographique et politique. Et je pense qu'on sera peut-être pénalisé à exporter notre cinéma si on va se retrouver sous un chapeau de réseau dans lequel il n'y aura pas forcément les festivals qui ne sont pas dans le réseau européen. Yeah. C'est un peu ça le bémol au fait.
Oui, non, donc une petite agitation.
Pour moi, c'est plus dire, je sais pas, festival de Séville, @GCC, GCC @IFTA et ainsi de suite. Montrer les films qui ont été primés, les talents qu'on essaie de découvrir dans les festivals.
Or, for example, the festivals at the BOZAR. So here, just to round up the second round, and then I would maybe take a couple of questions from the floor, just if there are some requests, so start thinking about it. Juliette, the joint activities and individual activities, how do you see your showcase activity in terms also on preserving the independence of what you do alone and what you do with others, and how could this networking requirement, let's say, impact on your independence, on your editorial independence?
Well, for me, a festival is a brand, and it's and the product of a festival actually is the curated program. So I think it would be difficult for me in I'm not a festival myself, but as I'm not a festival myself, I'm seeing all the diversity of the film festival. And this is very important because the diversity of Europe, it's all the voices. And so what I would see, which could be a danger, is that if you're collaborating on the artistic level with different film festivals, that you are losing your identity. And there it could be maybe a pity, actually, because what makes a festival, why do you feel like you go to this festival, or why Cannes is Cannes, why Berlin is Berlin, why Venice is Berlin? Venice, it's because of the program, and from the program they created a social event, and after an international social event. So there, I think it would be maybe better to take advantage of maybe more at the industry level, that you could collaborate. Also, maybe some people working at the festival. Of course, you have the 2, 3, 4 person really annually working for a film festival, but you also have a lot of temporary workers. And in Europe, it could be interesting that this worker could sometimes work for different festivals, and because they are coming with an experience already, and so they can give something new, another point of view to an already established or new comer in the film festival. There, I think it's very interesting.
So more industry cooperation than
industry and HR, human resources.
No, good point.
I'm more perplexed for the artistic.
Yeah, I will give each of you 30 final seconds to give advice to the European Commission team, but I was wondering if there is an urgent need for a question or a remark from the audience. This is your moment. I guess there might be a mic that can be made circulate. Yes, there is one gentleman in the middle. If you can please say your name and your affiliation.
Okay, my name is Martin Demmer. I'm from Germany. I'm a filmmaker and film educator, but I'm working for a Polish film educational program. I would like to know what's your opinion as film festival representatives about the need of maybe kids education, including in film festival, to somehow get the future audience educated to understand the art house cinema and the future, because the kids are somehow our future audience. So and sometimes I have the impression when I teach and work with the kids that they tell me they just watch YouTube any longer.
So film literacy, basically. You both volunteered, 30 seconds each.
Yeah, indeed, in animation, this kind of film literacy aspect is quite strong. We have a lot of workshops, we work together with kindergartens and so on. And I think we learned a lot from the French film literacy programs, which are very well developed. And I think also in the media program, it played a very important role the last years. And I think it has been underestimated for quite a long time. It was, okay, we have the little children's section and then we show some films. It was not very well curated, but now, like the whole festival, not only for the kids, is transforming away a little bit from the mere presentation of films, premieres and so on, more in direction of laboratory workshops and so on. And therefore, we have a children film jury, we have all those elements, and it's really fun. And what is really personally very touching that I sometimes get mails from 18-year-old kids who want to apply for the film academy, for the film schools, and they told me they have been at my festival for 10 or 12 years, every year, and now they want to apply for a film school. So you really see that it's very important to put those seeds and then it will blossom.
You have a good harvest there, I see. Orva, what about you? Are the documentaries as successful as animation for film literacy?
Well, at least in the example of IDFA, it's a very serious big part of what we do. We have, but that's about exhibition, not about education in filmmaking, but in terms of exhibition, connecting a younger generation to the habit, to the experience of watching film. I think this is a very big part of what we do through documentaries, film screenings for schools that bus school kids, the schools book their screenings in IDFA months in advance, and there's a special curated program for that. But year-round, we have events, and we have a very special doc school program online for film for schools to participate in and have access to films to show in the classroom, and including a lot of pedagogical material to edit it, etc. So it is a very serious role, and I think that IDFA would have never been so big if not for this effort. Because when in 30 years we get to now 285,000 tickets, you're talking about the kids who were watching when they were young, and they grew, and they somehow relate to the experience of watching film together.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for this. I don't know if there is a very last one. Otherwise, I would go for the speed messaging to the European Commission. What would you urge them to pay attention to when now going for the adoption of the new media program where networks of festivals are mentioned. José Luis, will you want to start? Short.
Okay, network is not bad, but I have to insist, be careful with the identity of each festival, please.
And Juliette?
We'll join José Luis maybe, and just to strengthen the film festival is important. This is they have a key role to play for the young audience, for the market, for the industry, for the creative industry of cinema. It's very they became just the most important marketplace, and for the artistic, it remains they are really important for creativity, for the speech of freedom of speech, diversity.
So for both of you, let's not forget the festivals as such. Networking is good, but let's not forget the festivals. Chiraz, what about you?
Je pense que l'idée du réseau est une idée prometteuse, mais elle reste dangereuse dans le sens où chaque pays a... C'est des écosystèmes très différents de l'industrie de l'image. Et au-delà des écosystèmes, il y a aussi des problématiques aussi sociétales et culturelles qui peuvent être différentes ou partagées. Et donc c'est tout un business model, parce que c'est du business aussi, à penser avec plus de maturité. Je voudrais juste répondre à monsieur par rapport à l'investissement dans l'éducation à l'image.
20 secondes.
Par rapport aux enfants.
Très bref.
Oui, rapidement. C'est aussi le rôle des Film Institute qui doivent aussi proposer des programmes plus ancrés. Par exemple, en Tunisie, on fait 1001 films dans toutes les écoles primaires de la Tunisie. Et ça va au-delà des festivals.
Super. So we need more money for film literacy. I think there is a lot going on. That's good examples. Orva, your message to the European Commission?
Two quick ones, 10 seconds each. First is networking is very important. Collaboration needs to be supported. But I think the answer because I agree with you, I think the solution is to be very open to creative and innovative understandings of collaboration and networking. So not to preset or not to pre-design an accurate criteria of what should be done. Because I'm sure that we will come up with good ways to protect our identities but work together if there is no preset design. The second point is I don't know where the media program stands on the questions of inclusion and diversity, and I think it is a responsibility also when we're discussing all the time the place of women filmmakers and the place of inclusion and diversity in all festivals. Censorship. Yeah. It is gender or cultural background. I think it's very serious to think what is the position of the media program on this, and how can the media program play a positive role in evoking or growing the responsibility, the sense of responsibility of all of us.
Sounds like a very clear message. And Ulrich, we conclude with you before I will ask Silvia Costa, member of European Parliament, to join the pupitre. So Ulrich, your message. You need the mic.
Thanks for the microphone. Yes, I really confirm all your remarks. I think networks are important. There should be an open concept of networks. And I also would recommend that because the media program has such a long history and there's a lot of experience and knowledge, we shouldn't forget about all those aspects which have been already developed, like the media literacy program and the aspect of diversity. So I think it would be important to have some small changes, but in general I think it works well, but it needs much more money. That's sometimes a problem because the share of the media money compared to the whole budget of a festival is not very high. So therefore, I really congratulate Mr. Viola if he succeeds with a 30% increase, because that would make a real impact, and so therefore learn from the experiences that you already made within 20 years and try to structure the networks and be open towards non-European aspects and diversity. Then I think it will still be a very successful program.
Thanks for this, and I would now ask Silvia Costa to join us. She doesn't need presentation, but it's maybe worth recalling that she has a special role with regard to the Creative Europe program, because she is a rapporteur of Creative Europe Post 21, and she was also a rapporteur for the previous program. So a long-standing experience, and I will give you now the floor for the conclusive remarks.
And so I begin in English, but I continue in Italian if you allow me, because it's better for me. Sorry. I hope that you have, all of you have the headphone. Just to say thank you to the Festival of Venezia and Mr. Paolo Baratta, to Commission, Mr. Viola. Thank you to our very precious speakers, and understand with a very, very open mind, because I'm learning so much today. And thank you for your contribution, because this aspect is an increasing aspect for me in the present culture, and present strategies and challenge of Creative Europe. I'm the destiny, I don't know, to be for the second time the rapporteur of Creative Europe. And I know that the new program, 21-27, will be in a very changed world, in a very changed also scenario in Europe. And so we have to also to be very careful also of the future of the culture and the meaning of a European identity and a European space for culture in the future of Europe. I will try to continue in English, but it is not so sure that to be the best, to be very precise, and so if I can change the language. Okay. And so the first thing that I have to say, just to explain which is the picture now, is that the program support, but maybe someone know in part, in different ways. The big festivals, as Venice, Cannes, and Berlin, and others, through other means, and in promotion, training, and other kind of way to support projects. Special projects inside, as Biennale College here, and others kind of specific project in other. But for the majority of festival, there are in the present program only 3 million euros dedicated. This is the first thing. We have a very frustrating average of success stories, because we normally, as the last year is 102 festival funded, but compare with the 400 projects, and so is 1 on 4. And so this is, I understand that the Commission, when it says maybe it's better to concentrate more on networks of festivals than Czech partnership, and not on the third, just to understand, to recall what is the problem, because I try to be intellectually honest. I know that the picture is not easy, because it's difficult to understand. The third thing is that we are the minimum of and the maximum of fund is a little low, because it's between 9,000 and 75,000 euros for each contribution, and also that we have the minimum of the level, come c'è la soglia? To accede to this money is at least 100 on lungometraggio and or 400 on short. And so it's already high for me level of request not to participate. But I understand by your words and also your experience, very high level of experience before and now, some problems that I share. But it's very, and also the question that Maya Capello proposed are very focused on these dilemmas. And so how to obtain different, I recognize that the festival is increasing the role of create a European culture space. In these times, it's better to say it. It's not only absolutely for increase the success of a movie or a TV series, but maybe that you are intellectual, authors, cultural operators, professionals, we are very aware that the challenge is very high in this moment for Europe. And our contribution to create this space, this common identity at the European level must be created with creating this bridge between operators, businessmen, genders, and also between different kind of experience and also these different identities and trust that you mentioned before, that the public and the operators has on a single festival. And so this richness of diversity must be, for me, preserved, but must be more connected among them. And so we have to answer to this dilemma, which is, I imagine that we have to balance the increasing of incentive these partnerships, but starting, as you say, maybe everybody, starting from existing partnership. After I can say a word on Tunisia, because I'm very, very happy to have Tunisia here. And also to incentivize also partnership, maybe also between different kind of countries. I imagine some more high level of production countries with other countries, no? Cinematography, but also between genders, and but for me it's important to respect what you suggest, and this is also my opinion. I don't want to anticipate as a rapporteur what I will propose, but I want to have this exchange in an open way with you. Because I imagine that you have, in this kind of a situation in which festival has an identity, a specificity, is very competitive also for trying sponsor and movies with others. It's very difficult to understand what's a network, one or more networks, can give as a specific common services or support. Maybe that the partnership is more to create a positive way to cooperate, but in a voluntary way, but incentive. And so maybe this is interesting to imagine a second way to support festival, but not only the way of networks. But it's open, I am open, but I am more on this opinion. We have to invest more in festival. The budget of media now is 1 billion. It's not enough. In Parliament, as a rapporteur, I will fight to obtain more. Absolutely for Creative Europe. We, in any case, I'm very glad, and I thank also Giuseppe Bamonte and their colleagues that are, we did the same battle to defend the autonomy of Creative Europe program, together with many of you, I know, and stakeholders. But the problem is that it's not enough, but maybe that we inside the different lines of supporting funds, we can imagine to increase the funds for film festival and to obtain two goals: to maintain the contribution, maybe I am very open to your suggestion after also this meeting to understand which kind of different criteria or more criteria or higher criteria, I don't know. But maybe that we can explore more these, but also adding this incentive for partnership, but on voluntary basis. This is for me maybe the more consistent thing. I want to be very, very, very brief and very concrete. The second, I imagine that there are many interesting things that we can do also inside another program. Not only structural funds, Interreg. We are in this moment debating next week the integration with other programs, European programs and European funds. For instance, in Interreg, that is between different European regions, we have to put inside more references, more focus only on cooperation among festival, among operators, among culture items, culture fields. That's very important for us. It's foreseen also in the Creative Europe, but we have to create an effective result on this. Third, you know that we in these years, thanks to the Parliament and supported by Commission, we have a very big success on two new strategies, not only for creative industries and so on, that's important, but also on European Year of Cultural Heritage. And during this year, we also Commission launched a new method to work together in a horizontal way, also cooperating with Horizon, with Erasmus, with others. And so we have to put more attention on this also in other programs. And the second is culture diplomacy. We have a very big challenge, not only to explore, to strengthen the space, the cultural space inside Europe, but also outside Europe. Maybe that also these incentives can be also taken in consideration, also the effort to cooperate also with the not European countries, but we have to have a balance, but also to improve, because it's a way to guarantee the career of the movies also abroad. And it's very interesting, it's not only movie, but all TV series and so on. I know that we have, just to mention, in the Parliament, it was just to mention the Lux Prize that you know, I imagine. For instance, in the Lux Prize, we inaugurated some years ago a new way to promote the winners, the 3 winners, final winners, not only with the subtitling. I see here Doris Pack, that she is the coordinator of Lux Prize. Ciao, Doris. Not only with the possibility to subscribe in any official language, European official language, the movies, winners, but also with shooting together in all Europe, around Europe, in BOZAR, in streaming, but not in a commercial way. Is a promotion of the winners, but not in a competition with the business model that we know is to respect also the windows, the chronology of the windows that in any country is decided among the parts. And so I appreciate so much your intervention. I think there is an added value, as you said before, not only to the internationalization of careers of professionals, B2B models, etc., but also education of public audience development and cooperation also with schools and other actors. And I know you're right, many of you underline this aspect, that the year-lasting activity of a festival. The festival is the last act of your work. It is the first step, sometimes, on the success of movies and also to create this challenge and also these relationships among the world of the creativity. Just the last words I want to reserve to Tunisia. I have been one of the person, I'm very proud of it, that in Parliament fought a lot to have also Tunisia inside Creative Europe. You have maybe the 39 country, I imagine, because we are in 39 countries, and since the 1st of January of this year, Tunisia is a partner of Creative Europe. I'm very proud of this result because Tunisia is a strategic country in the Mediterranean, because you have to see in the east, but also in the south of Europe. And maybe that, and as Italian, let me say that we have very close relations. I imagine you know so well Med Film Festival in Italy is 24 years lasting festival created by a woman. Ginella Vocca, and she participated so many times with your professionals. There is, allora, in this case, we have not to create a network, you have to recuperate the existing network and to incentivize, and you have to choose the partners in a very free way. That's what I can say in a few minutes. Sorry for my English, but in any case, I imagine you understand me. But I'm very, very happy to have been here, to have heard this debate, and I'm very open to your suggestions. If you, as together or in an individual way, can send me some specific proposal, very in a positive way for this, and I hope that the festival, including this big festival as Venice Festival, will have a more recognition of the value, of the role, of the strategic approach to a new way to imagine and to raccontare, to tell, only tell. Sembra un po' povera. To tell Europe. Thank you.
And I think now it's cocktail time, right? But no, not cocktail time. Not yet. Don't move. Surprise.
So if you bear with me one more minute, so it is true that the EFF will be followed by the cocktail, but first thing first, there is the award of the prize by the Vice President Evelyn Gebhardt, and there is the Europa Cinema Innovation Prize. So Europa Cinema, which is the network of cinema theaters funded by media, has launched this innovation prize, rewarding standout innovative projects and approaches carried out by the cinemas of the network. So the new prize aims at rewarding creativity, and in particular the prize will go to a cinema, I don't know who is the cinema, using digital technology, so excellence in usage of digital technology, environmental sustainable projects, and long-term socio-economic impact, such as the valuation, for example, of a rundown neighborhood. The winner of the prize will get 10,000 euros and will commit to use this amount in order to continue building on the cinema policy towards innovation. So before, the cocktail will take place in the room which is adjacent there to the left because of the stormy weather in which we can't go to the terrace. So Ms. Gebhardt, the floor is yours. I don't see Ms. Gebhardt. Ms. Gebhardt. Thank you. No.
sur l'identité. Aussi l'identité, qu'est-ce que cela signifie? Et j'ai continué à penser à ce terme et les nationalistes, les extrêmes droites disent toujours l'identité c'est lié à une place, à un endroit. Et pour moi, ce n'est pas vrai. J'ai regardé comment c'est en Allemagne, je me dis, dans ce cas-là, il n'y a pas d'identité allemande si on prend cette définition, et je dis pourquoi après la traduction en anglais.
So, good evening, everyone. We're actually improvising a bit, but it's exactly what we're doing. We're talking about innovation. This is the first edition of innovation, and it's very important, and I'm very pleased to be here and honored to have such a talented director for this award regarding innovation. Last year we spoke a lot about identity, and I've wondered many times what exactly is identity. Many people, especially right-wing political party, thinks it's something that is quite fixed, but I don't agree, and I'm going to tell you what I think is right now.
Nationalistes racontent toujours l'identité, c'est comme on a besoin d'une langue commune, d'une tradition commune, d'une culture commune. Je regarde ça en Allemagne, il y a les Bavarois, il y a ceux du Nord, il arrive qu'ils ne se comprennent pas. Alors je me demande si avec cette définition, comment est-ce qu'on peut parler d'une identité allemande? Donc c'est autre chose qui fait l'identité.
So, nationalists say that identity has to do with having a common language, a common culture, but I actually believe that in Germany this is not the case, and so maybe I think that there must be something else regarding identity that actually can define it.
Cette identité dont je parle aujourd'hui, ce sont les valeurs qui nous sont communes. C'est la démocratie, ce sont les libertés que nous avons. La liberté de la presse, la liberté de parler, de communiquer ce que l'on veut. C'est le droit, c'est la justice indépendante. Ce sont toutes ces valeurs que nous avons en Europe, c'est ça notre identité européenne. Et c'est à cela que nous devons faire appel quand nous parlons d'identité commune. Et moi je dis toujours, nous avons cette identité commune. Elle n'est pas reconnue partout, il faut que nous travaillions à cela, mais nous l'avons et nous devons faire en sorte qu'elle soit acceptée par tous les citoyens et les citoyennes.
So I think identity has a lot to do with our values. So identity is our democracy, is freedom of speech, it's our own rights, it's very strong values that we do have in Europe, and this is exactly what we have to bear in mind when we talk about identity. It's something that we have, it's something that we share.
Yes, now I will continue in English because I prepared my speech in English. It was a parenthèse because there is something I'm many thinking about it, and it is very important in today's situation to clarify what about we are discussing. And that is why I am very glad. At the last Cannes Film Festival, we discussed these European identities and diversity, and I am glad to share with Abayaram Sissako this awarding ceremony. The Creative Europe Media Programme supports the Innovation Prize. It rewards standout innovative projects and approaches carried out by Movies Theatre of Europa Cinemas Network. It aims at highlighting the variety, vitality and creativity of the network's cinemas. It aims at developing and engaging audiences, especially the young ones, in order to build sustainable projects and with a long-term socio-economic impact. We share many things with Europa Cinemas, and not just in terms of objectives. With the Lux Prize, we support as well the circulation of European films, and without the collaboration of Europa cinemas, we would never generate the same impact. We pay special attention to young audiences, and this is why we promote together with Europa Cinemas and the Giornate degli Autori the project 28 Times Cinema. We seek for more ways of engaging audiences, and therefore we are always keen on organizing debates and simultaneous screening of Lux Prize in Europa Cinema's network theaters. We have so many films in common. Most of the Lux Prize competition films have been awarded the Europa Cinema's label, from Mustang to Tony Erdmann, just to quote some. For all these reasons, I wish this first Innovation Prize a great future, and I wish Europa Cinemas to expand their network more and more in smaller cities, in countries where theaters are less numerous, and consequently, I hope the budget that we will discuss for the next Creative Europa program will be beneficial to those ambitions. And so now I am proud to give the floor to Mr. Kisako.
Bonjour, je voudrais tout d'abord remercier le Creative Europe Media Programme qui a soutenu cette initiative.
So, good evening everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for supporting this initiative.
Et remercier Europa Cinéma pour le travail extraordinaire qu'il fait depuis des dizaines d'années pour le soutien aux salles de cinéma. Remercier Europa Cinéma. Ouais.
And of course, I would like to thank Europa Cinema as well for the work they've been doing for so many years and for their support.
Et vous savez, en tant que cinéaste, que le destin pour moi d'un film est quand même la salle de cinéma. Et donc, donner un prix à une salle de cinéma, donner un prix à l'innovation est quelque chose d'extrêmement important.
So filmmaking and cinema halls for me are very important, and so giving this prize is absolutely remarkable.
Donc je voulais remercier aussi surtout Evelyne Guérat qui a rappelé notre discussion à Cannes qui était sur la notion même de l'identité. Nous savons qu'aujourd'hui, en ce moment en Europe, il y a un grand danger qui existe déjà dans pas mal de pays. Et donc, pour moi, la question de l'identité est une question fondamentale et qu'il ne faut pas la rétrécir dans une petite vision de populisme qui essaie aujourd'hui de dévier une trajectoire de l'humanité qui ne peut être qu'une grande ouverture sur l'autre.
And I would also like to thank Evelyne Guérat, who reminded us about the importance of identity. We know that in modern times in Europe we're facing we're facing this identity crisis, although we do know that it's such a fundamental and pivotal concept, and so we cannot be narrow-minded, but humanity must be as open as possible towards others.
Je voulais remercier le travail du jury de ce prix de l'innovation qui est composé de deux exploitants, d'un distributeur et d'un architecte. Et parmi eux, je connais le distributeur Stéphane et Stéphane de Potter de Cinéart qui a distribué pratiquement tous mes films. Et également Jean-Marc Lallot, qui est un architecte de cinéma français et qui a soutenu un projet de cinéma que j'avais en Afrique, au Mali, que je voulais ouvrir une salle de cinéma. Malheureusement, cette salle de cinéma n'a pas été ouverte parce que quand un pays est fragile, quand il n'existe pas d'institutions fortes pour soutenir la création, pour soutenir le cinéma, il est très très difficile de faire exister l'art. Et donc ce cinéma n'a pas pu exister, mais il y a eu un travail qui a été fait dans une vision d'une grande diversité, parce que cet architecte est français, on avait le soutien de médias, de beaucoup d'autres pays.
So I'd like to thank the jury that took part to this award for innovation, the distributors of Cinéar that distributed most of my films, and I would also like to thank a French architect, Jeanne Malolo, who worked with me to a very important project. I wanted to open a cinema quite some time ago. Unfortunately, the project didn't end well because there were not enough funds, but it was a very important project. We worked a lot about it and we had a very important vision, and I thank him for his support.
Je voulais aussi rappeler que le jury a examiné 43 projets de 18 pays d'Europe. Et ça veut dire d'abord que ce prix de l'innovation a intéressé les salles d'art et essais, donc 43 projets qui étaient des projets très différents, très forts, ont postulé, et venant de 18 pays d'Europe. Et c'est extrêmement important, et ça montre aussi le travail qu'Europa Cinéma fait depuis plusieurs années. Parce que s'il n'y avait pas ce travail d'Europa Cinéma, vous savez que beaucoup de pays, ou en tout cas de villes, n'auraient pas la possibilité d'avoir leur salle d'art et essai.
So we analyzed a total of 43 projects coming from 18 different European countries. All 43 projects were very different and very powerful at the same time, and this is very important because it shows the work that Europe Cinema has been doing so far, and without Europe Cinema many cities would not have the possibility to take part to such projects.
Et le jury a particulièrement retenu un projet qui vient d'un petit pays, entre guillemets, mais qui vient d'un pays quand même de cinéma, et qui vient d'une ville dont la particularité n'est pas ce cinéma qui a 100 ans, c'est une salle de cinéma qui a 100 ans, mais il faut savoir que cette ville, Uppsala, a aussi une des plus belles cathédrales d'Europe. Voilà. Et donc, je ne fais pas opposition entre salle de cinéma et cathédrale, mais c'est pas si loin, hein, une salle de cinéma et une cathédrale. Donc c'est important que cette salle, qui existe depuis 100 ans, a pu, depuis quelque temps, se transformer grâce à une synergie de jeunes, une synergie de gens différents, avec des spécialités différentes, qui se sont mis autour d'un projet, autour d'une idée, c'est-à-dire comment faire pour que cette salle, qui était en baisse de fréquentation, comme d'autres salles d'ailleurs en Suède, hein, comment aider cette salle à exister et à prendre une trajectoire beaucoup plus forte. Et donc, cette salle de cinéma qui a un nom magnifique d'ailleurs, et que j'oublie un peu, c'est le Führersch Biografen salle. Et le directeur de cette salle est un passionné de cinéma, c'est un grand cinéphile, et qui nous a fait le plaisir de venir ici pour prendre le prix. J'ai envie d'appeler Allegro, qui est ici présent. Merci. Et je voudrais remettre ce magnifique prix et vous dire vraiment que l'exemple que vous donnez à votre vie est un exemple que l'Europe doit s'inspirer. C'est un exemple au-delà de l'Europe d'ailleurs, d'autres continents, d'autres pays qui n'ont presque pas de salle de cinéma doivent s'inspirer de votre exemple, parce que c'est un exemple tout simple, c'est un exemple d'optimisme, parce que quand on croit à la salle, on peut la faire exister. Et bravo.
Thanks a lot. This is really amazing for us. I would like to start to thank the jury and Creative Europe. This prize means a lot for us. I would also like to thank all of our volunteers at Fyrisbiografen. Without them, this would not have been possible. When we speak about innovation in this industry, we often talk about 3D and VOD and VR. So I guess it's quite a bold move of the jury to award this prize to a 100-year-old cinema that has never come close to those acronyms. We look at our mission not as trying to invent new forms of film, but rather enhancing the experience of cinema and also increasing our audience using new technology and using our data. And this prize really is a great proof of success of that mission. And I hope that this prize also will inspire other cinemas to continue working in the same direction. Thanks.
So I'm really very proud to have such a young man having that prize. Thank you very much. We will not have the cocktail on the terraza because the weather is not good enough. So we will have it in the room here beside. Thank you for coming. Thank you.